So can you say again, please?
I said I hope I'm not in imminent danger. But which camera am I looking at? This one or this one? Okay. I hope I'm not in imminent danger. If that's the case, I'll just tackle it best I can.
Good morning, church. Can I preach to the choir this morning? God bless. Well, can I preach to the choir this morning? Praise Him. God's test. Pray we all pass. Yeah. As I preach to the choir this morning. Unroll the leaf, break it down, keep going. You on your feet, your balance going. It's starting to reach, my time is showing, yeah. As I preach to the choir this morning, yeah. Testimonies into my blessings. With life, quit all of the struggle and rest.
So, can we first just explain who we talking to and who you are, what you do, and all of that, where you from?
Yeah, Juliet James. I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. Queens get the money. I'm a visual artist. I've been painting for a while. I took a long hiatus in college, and then I kind of jumped back into it a couple years after I graduated. So I'm just kind of trying to get back into it.
Talk about your hiatus a little bit.
I mean, it was just college life, so I just fell off of a lot of things. I mean, for a long time, I just kind of looked at art as a hobby, just because everybody else in my family was doing more professional stuff. Not that art isn't professional, but you know what I mean,
job, office.
Yeah, or teaching or stuff like that. So it was just a hobby. So I just had to kind of jump into it and be this is more than a hobby. But college was just hard because trying to keep up with friends and grades and all that stuff.
So it's young artists out there that probably feel shy or doesn't quite know what market they might attract. What's some things you could share with them to encourage them so they don't have a hiatus?
Definitely surround yourself with other artists, surround yourself with art. Make sure you're constantly looking at things that will inspire you. Definitely put yourself in situations that you might not feel comfortable in. I did my first art show March of 2019, and then I did 10 other art shows that year, and then I just had to get comfortable and jump in. So
how was talk about your first art show? How was the emotions,
I was definitely nervous. That one, it was a little easier because I do events where my stuff is on the wall, but I also do events where I'll sell, have a table. So that first one was easy because I didn't have to really talk to nobody. I just kind of put my stuff on the wall and observe. But it was really fun. It was really cool watching other people go up to the wall and look at my stuff and try to find me and tell me how much they liked it. So it was a really cool experience.
Talk about the differences from maybe preparing for on the wall kind of show and then one that you might have to present and explain.
It's two very different things. If my stuff's just on the wall, I don't have to do much. But then again, those are the lazy ones, but not lazy for everybody, just lazy for me. Because I'm all right, cool, I can kind of just sit back and watch who looks at my art. But depending on if you're trying to sell, sometimes I'm not going with the intention to sell. I just want to showcase. But if you're trying to sell stuff, you really have to be standing by your stuff and talking to people. But I don't always feel the need to do that. But the events where I get to table are fun because it's people are coming to me, people are looking at my stuff. I get to have conversations. They'll ask me about different pieces. Yeah,
that's cool. So would you say that would probably been your breakthrough moment, or did you have a moment where before all of that, when you were maybe at home or maybe in your dorm room, no, I'm gonna do this. This is my thing.
So I guess like what brought me out of my hiatus was like I randomly went to a paint and sip, and like I was like, oh, I forgot like how much fun this was. Like I should like get back to doing it at home like on the regular. So that was like what got me back into it, and then I just kind of gradually started doing more and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about maybe what art means to you. Like as far as, is it something that you would do for a long term of time, you know, without any compensation, or is it more of like a you know, like a work type thing? How do you look at it?
Compensation's awesome. I don't need it necessarily. I feel like that's been what a lot of my quarantine work has been, like commissions, just because like it's been hard to get inspired having to stay inside. But yeah, definitely it's definitely something I want to do long term. For me, it's an outlet. For me, it's just like expression, because I still haven't really, I don't know if I've found like my style yet, so I'm still having fun like kind of experimenting. Like all 3 pieces I brought with me look completely different. Yeah. So I'm just having fun like experimenting with different things.
All right. So speaking of the pieces, like the next question I was gonna ask you, like your intent behind your art. Like if you like want people to feel happy when they see your art, if you want people to start thinking, like what's your intent behind, like?
I don't know, and that's hard because I feel like a lot of times, unless I'm thinking of a piece for a specific event, I'm not necessarily thinking it with like other people in mind, if that makes sense. Like I'm like, okay, what am I feeling today? What am I gonna paint today? Like if it makes other people feel things, and that's just like a bonus. Does that make sense? Yeah, so like I've definitely, with a lot of like my self-portraits, people are like, oh, like I really see myself in this is really dope. Or like just my pieces where like I've done, I focus on like black hair. People are like, oh, I love seeing like, people just like seeing themselves. So if they see themselves in like what I'm doing, then that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's more, would you say it's more like you want to make more relatable art, maybe?
Yeah.
Like just something somebody can put up in their living room, and then when they walk by,
Definitely.
that makes sense. So let's talk about maybe your routine when you driving home, you just got off work, and what's your mindset when you about to go home and about to get ready to paint? How you choose your colors, like everything, like.
Colors are probably the most stressful thing for me. Like I will sketch something out and spend so long on the sketch, and like I almost be sometimes like afraid to mess it up. I'm like, oh, if I use the wrong color, like I could fix it, but it's gonna stress me out. Yeah, I don't know. Like when I think of something or like see something that inspires me, I'll like type a quick note into my phone. And I'll be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. And then like the longer it sits in my phone, 2 things happen. I'll be like, damn, I really gotta get this out of my phone and like onto canvas. But then at the same time, the longer it sits in my phone, like I feel like the better it comes out when I finally do it. Cause I've like,
it's more detailed.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this idea has been sitting with me for 2 months now, but now that I know what it's gonna look like, it's gonna look fire. Cause I really have a hard time with colors, cause like I love colors, so like I just want to use all of them. So like sometimes I have a hard time like deciding, okay, these colors are gonna make it look as good as it can look.
All right. So like have any music playing? You got any cheese and crackers on the side? Like what's the vibe like?
I love to paint with wine. There's definitely some kind of beverage happening when I'm painting. Music can vary. Sometimes I will put on the TV, and it will be something I've seen already, so that I don't really need to pay attention. But sometimes I just like hearing like the voices from the TV. But then sometimes if I'm like, sometimes I will like actively choose a playlist. So it really varies. And yeah.
So when you choose your playlist, do you have like any artists like that you go to? Like I'm gonna play this Smokey Robinson.
It also depends. Sometimes I will put on the soundtrack to Hamilton and paint and put it on repeat. Sometimes I will put on Amy Winehouse. Sometimes I'll put on Biggie. It really like depends on what I'm painting and like what I'm feeling in that particular day.
Okay. And then post, like after you feel like, all right, this might be done.
Yeah.
What goes through your head to make sure it's signed, sealed, and delivered?
I think I take like several days to decide whether or not I'm done with a painting. Like I will have a product that I think is maybe close to finish, and I will like text it to a couple of my friends, like, what do you think of this? Does this look done? Granted, I already kind of have my opinion in my head of what I want, and I know whether or not I'm gonna add stuff to it. I just like to kind of get opinions of people who are close to me, just to see like, oh, what do you think? Like kind of see how they're feeling it out. And then sometimes like they'll have an idea that I didn't think of, and I'm like, oh shit, that would be fire. Let me play with that.
So let's talk about that. As far as like maybe trust, I wouldn't say trusting, but like kind of like putting yourself out there as far as your art, because as artists sometimes we be sensitive. Like even if it's like your mom or like somebody the closest person to you, like they be like nah, or what I'm saying, like it's sensitive. So talk about the importance of like not get so personal about your art and like kind of taking the constructive criticism.
Yeah. Sorry, were you done? Sorry. I think I definitely tend to be shy about a lot of stuff, and I also like learned that like a lot of my friends, like they'll think it's fire just because I did it. So I'm like, I gotta stop asking y'all. So I one of my art shows a couple months ago, it was actually like the last one I did before quarantine. It's this group of girls, we're the art mommy group. We've started we did a couple like FaceTimes in quarantine, and it's been really good because like we all know each other, but we're not like close because we like just started talking. So it's good to like kind of get feedback from them, see where they're at. So like that's why like when I was saying earlier, it's definitely good to surround yourself with other artists. Surround yourself with other artists that like you're not necessarily best friends with, because like they'll be more likely to give you, maybe not more likely, but you can definitely get different opinions,
a different point of view.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So do you have any more stories like where maybe like you had encounters with different artists where like help you enhance your work or whatever? And you help them enhance their work too? Yeah,
like definitely most of my friends who are artists will like talk about all of our stuff together. So it's just like constant feedback, constant like support, constant assistance in like whatever capacity any of us needs.
So let's talk about little girl Julie. When you first picked up a paintbrush or first decided like who was like your artistic like influence? Was it a drawing, a Lola bunny? Like what was it that made you be like?
I don't know. I think I really liked. There was this book actually that my mom used to read to me when I was smaller. It was called Cherries and Cherry Pits, and I like loved the illustration. And in the book, the girl is like, she's drawing out like the illustrations are like supposed to be like her illustrations. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I just love looking at the pictures and like seeing her drawing these pictures. So I think that was like a big influencer when I was a kid.
Is there any like artists out there like that? Like
I love Micheline Thomas. Her paintings are so dope. She does like these huge canvases. A couple of them are at the museum in DC, and she uses a lot of glitter. And yeah, she's one of my favorites.
Who is she for like people that don't know?
Oh, she's an artist. I wish I knew more about her. Honestly, like I'm so familiar with her pieces, but like her as an actual artist, I don't know too much about. So my bad on that. But definitely like look her up.
All right. So we'll get a few of your pieces in here and just kind of take us through like like the journey of them, like and everything.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, yo.
So this is one of my OGs. This is like one of the first ones that I did when I started really like getting back into painting. I just really, American Gothic is like such an interesting painting to me. The original American Gothic couple is in the window back here.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted to reimagine them as like a younger, like fly black couple. So that's where I went with this. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Do you remember the year you did that?
This was 2019, I think. I think end of 2019. Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Alright, next one.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. That's perfect.
I'll just pass.
I'm going to make a cut.
Yeah, I got a couple tiny ones over there too. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, can I do that one first, actually?
Oh.
Yeah, because
sure,
I
sure.
was trying to go in order. Yeah. Okay. So this one, oh, sorry. Good. Okay. Yeah, so this one I call Freedom Flag. I think I did this for Black History Month. So there's an Instagram page, Black Girls Who Paint, and they're like membership based, but they used to just take like DMs and you could DM them like stuff that you painted and they would have like a weekly theme. Yeah. So this one I had done for the Black History Month theme. And I ended up being featured on the page, so that was pretty exciting.
That's good.
Yeah.
So talk about like being featured and stuff. Like, what would be some advice you would give an artist that's looking for that?
Honestly, I would say don't stress too much over it, because like if you don't get featured, you're gonna be stressed out. I would DM them my stuff like every week, and this just happened to be the one that got picked. But like I used to get sad because it was like, oh, I felt like this piece was really good and they didn't pick it. So like you just gotta get out of that mindset. Like, yo, just because they didn't pick it doesn't mean it's trash. It's like it's still a fire piece. So like I wouldn't even like stress over getting featured. Like if it happens, it happens, and that's awesome. And then you'll like have the clout for a few days, and then the next week, you know, somebody else will have the clout. So like don't focus too much on being featured. Thank you.
Do you have a name in your paintings? Like,
I do, but a lot of times I don't. I did name this one and I forgot what I named it. Pink Lemonade, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites, and one of my more recent ones. This was actually this kind of style where it's just the body and then the head is like whatever the hell it wants to be, was inspired by like one of my friends, Shells. He does these paintings where like he'll just do a body and then like do a head of like hibiscus flowers or something like that. So I wanted to try something like that. And yeah, I feel like this is like part of where I could really see like my progress over the past couple years, just like with the shading and all that, and just like the vibrant, more vibrant colors and stuff like that. And I really like I just was experimenting with like texture here, so like this was like a really fun piece to do. It took me a while, but once it was like finally done, like I really loved it.
What's the average time it took you to finish them?
It really it depends. Like I could take from like 2 days to like 2 months, honestly. It really depends. And I would like to say it depends on the size, but sometimes that's not even true. Sometimes it's just like, oh, this is a tiny canvas I'm doing and I'm just taking a while to do it. So it depends. I am trying to get faster with commissions. I've mostly done commissions for like people I know, and they've been too lenient with me. So if you know me and you need me to do a commission, be on me a little bit.
The smaller pieces.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll have to take all of the ones.
Perfect.
So these little ones, I wish I wish I had more, but it's also a good thing I don't have more because I sold most of these. So my friend Christina, she hosted a 2000s museum. And part of what I did for that was I painted like a whole bunch of like 2000s album covers. So like here we got Lil' Kim, we got Missy Elliott and 50 Cent. So those are just a couple I had. I had maybe like 15 of them and a lot of them sold. So yeah. Some of my faves.
How long it take you to make the smaller pieces?
These, depending on the detail, like I one of the really detailed ones I did was Ludacris Chicken and Beer. That one took me about 8 hours, but I don't think these maybe took like 4 to 6 hours each, so not as long.
Alright, so like is there anything that you like working on that's upcoming, like that you kind of looking forward to after the corona?
So I have 2 commissions that I have to finish right now, so I'm trying to focus on those. But after that, I definitely want to continue with this series because I have 2 more like this that I've already done.
Right.
One was sold, and then I definitely want to do some more of those.
All right. And I know the climate of the world right now, so is there anything that you want to say first to black women and then just to the black people as a whole?
Definitely black women, take care of yourselves. Black people, let's take care of each other. Everybody needs taken care of right now. For real. If you're a black creative, definitely keep creating. Try not to let the weight of this virus and the weight of the political climate, let's say, mess up your head too much. Just definitely try to stay focused and positive.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the Real Chance podcast or whatever this is. And we look forward to having you back, and we look forward to seeing your work down the line.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate